This video has been brought to you by Pro Bono Students Canada's Family Justice Centre. The Family Justice Centre has received financial support from its founding partner, Epstein Cole LLP, and from Legal Aid Ontario. Disclaimer: this video contains general legal information and not legal advice. Please consult with a lawyer for legal advice regarding your matter. If you need to seek a reduction to your spousal or child support obligation, you may want to consider the alternative options available to you outside of court. This video includes the following information: how the Family Responsibility Office enforces child and spousal support obligations, reasons that may qualify you to reduce your support obligation, 3 alternative options that do not require starting a new court process. In Ontario, the Family Responsibility Office, often referred to as FRO, enforces child and spousal support obligations arising from court orders and agreements. FRO can take a number of steps to enforce support obligations and payments. FRO can garnish wages, a percentage of some social assistance payments, and income tax rebates and refunds, to name a few. FRO can also suspend your driver's license and passport if you do not pay your support obligations. As a final resort, non-payment of child support can lead to jail time. It is important to note that parties to an agreement or order can agree to not have FRO enforce support and can opt out of the process by filing a notice of withdrawal with FRO. This form is available on FRO's website. If you choose to opt back into enforcement through FRO, after filing a notice of withdrawal, there will be a $50 fee. There are many reasons why someone may fall behind in their child or spousal support payments. Financial circumstances may change due to an illness, reduced income, or loss of employment, to name a few. If you have experienced a sustained loss of income, your prior support obligation may not reflect what you are able to pay or what you should be paying based on your income and financial situation. FRO can only enforce what is in the order or agreement, despite what changes in your income or financial situation may have occurred. Depending on the circumstances surrounding the decrease of your income, you may be able to reduce your support obligation to reflect your current income. If you find yourself in the position where you have a valid reason for needing a reduction of your support payments, and FRO has started to increase their enforcement measures, there are a number of options available to you to resolve this. One way to seek a reduction of your support obligations is through a motion to change, which entails starting a new case at court. This process often requires lengthy litigation, including case conferences, settlement conferences, motions, and in some instances, a trial. The court process can often be costly and time-consuming. This video will focus on the alternatives to bringing a motion to change. If the following alternatives are not viable options in your situation, please see our other video on preparing to file a motion to change. Here are a few alternative options for you to consider. Option 1. You can change your child support payments online. The Government of Ontario's website provides an online recalculation service. There are certain restrictions with this service. For example, you cannot update child support online if you or any of your children live outside of Ontario or if the payer parent is self-employed. There are other situations that may make you ineligible for the online recalculation service. To find out if your situation falls within the scope of the service, you should refer to the website. If you are eligible for the online recalculation service, you will be required to provide the following information: your social insurance number, your current mailing address, and a phone number for the other parent. If you haven't filed your most recent tax return, you may also need to provide either your 3 most recent pay stubs or the most recent statement of income from employment insurance, social assistance, a pension, workers' compensation, or disability payments. There is an $80 non-refundable administrative fee to use the online recalculation service. This fee may be waived if your household income falls below a certain level. When one parent updates child support online, the other parent will be notified by mail and must respond online within 25 calendar days. If the recipient of support does not respond, in some situations, the service may automatically update your child support based on the information you provided. If the recipient of support does respond and denies your request, you will need to proceed with another one of the options that will be discussed in this video or with a motion to change. The key is that you both have to agree to use the online recalculation service. For more information about setting up or updating child support online, please call the Child Support Service Contact Center at 1-866-656-7753 or toll-free in Canada at 1-800-263-7776. Option 2. You can settle or negotiate out of court. FRO cannot change any of the terms in your separation agreement or court order unless you use the online recalculation service mentioned earlier. Their job is to enforce the terms in the agreement or court order. In order to change the terms of an order or agreement without starting a court case, you may be able to negotiate with the support recipient to come to an agreement. If you are able to agree on new support terms with the other parent, you must formalize the new arrangement in one of three ways. 1. Entering into a domestic contract. If your support obligation stems from a domestic contract, either a separation agreement or a paternity agreement, you can change your support obligation by entering into an amending agreement. An amending agreement outlines a negotiated resolution to change the terms of the initial agreement. Each person entering into the agreement should receive independent legal advice before signing, and the parties should exchange disclosure. To notify FRO of these changes, you must put the amending agreement in writing. It must be dated and signed by both parties in front of witnesses. You must attach the amending agreement to a Form 26B affidavit for filing domestic contract, then file these documents at the court. Please note that you will be required to complete a confirmation of assignment form before filing the documents with the court. 2. Filing a consent motion to change. If your support obligation stems from a domestic contract or a court order, you can change your support obligation through a court form called a consent motion to change, Form 15C. Both parties must agree or consent to the change in your support obligations to use this form. A consent motion to change, Form 15C, sets out new support terms that you and the recipient agree to. Each person entering into the agreement should receive independent legal advice before signing. If the initial support arrangement is contained in a court order, you will need to formalize your agreement through a consent motion to change, and not through an amending agreement. To file a consent motion to change, Form 15C must be signed by both parties in front of witnesses. You must attach the form to a copy of your existing final support order and then file these documents at the court. Please note that you will be required to complete a confirmation of assignment form before filing the documents with the court. 3. Filing an application to discontinue enforcement of ongoing support. If your support obligation has ended or you are claiming that it should end, for example, if the child you are paying support for is now an adult and not in school, you can complete an application to discontinue enforcement of ongoing support and file it with FRO. They will provide the application to the support recipient, who will then have the opportunity to respond. If the support recipient agrees, in whole or in part, that can solve some of your problem. If they do not agree, you will need to proceed with one of the other options. This application can be used not only to change ongoing support, but also to get rid of arrears of support. This form can be found on the FRO website. Option 3. You can contact FRO to develop a voluntary arrears payment plan. If you fall behind on your support payments, the amount you owe is called arrears. The accumulation of arrears may result in FRO bringing a court case against you. FRO can garnish up to 50% of your pay or income source to collect ongoing support and arrears. This is often unmanageable for a support payer who needs to fund their own expenses as well. To avoid or address this, you should contact FRO to negotiate a voluntary arrears payment plan, often referred to as a VAP. This is something that you can do with FRO to reduce the amount of arrears they are collecting from you. It does not change the amount of your support obligation. The support recipient does not need to agree to the VAP, and you can negotiate it directly with FRO. Typically, the VAP is only to deal with the collection of arrears, so you will continue to owe the monthly amount under the order or agreement plus the negotiated amount for the payment on account of the arrears. This will mean that your arrears will continue to accrue at the rate set by the existing order or agreement, despite the fact that FRO will be collecting a reduced amount for a set period of time. The purpose of a voluntary arrears payment plan is to work with FRO to develop a plan that will help you pay down the amount you owe while also paying ongoing support. To develop a voluntary arrears payment plan with FRO, you will need to complete 2 forms: the Voluntary Arrears Payment Schedule Proposal Form and the Financial Statement Form. You can contact FRO at Toronto 416-326-1817, toll-free 1-800-267-4330, toll-free TTY 1-866-545-0083. Make sure to have your FRO case number available before you call FRO. If you require legal advice or assistance, you may wish to apply for legal aid by calling 1-800-668-8258. For more information about court forms and procedures, please visit Community Legal Education Ontario's Family Law Guided Pathways. Pro Bono Students Canada's Family Justice Centre runs virtual legal clinics that provide summary advice and court form drafting services to eligible self-represented litigants in Ontario. Please visit our website to find out more about our services. Please remember, this video contains general legal information, not legal advice. Please consult with a lawyer for legal advice regarding your matter. Thank you for watching.